Hi guys, Don Rice here. We're looking at the P47 after a very long weekend of masking and painting, and I showed you a good number of these various colors and whatnot, and then stopped. So since the last time I've seen you, the stripes are done and we put the stars and bars on. Those were done with paint masks from getstencils.com. Very happy with the way everything has turned out so far. Still got weathering to do, and because I started this whole video series in order to document the various weathering techniques I'm going to give a shot at on this airplane. Wanted to show you that I think we talked at some point in one of these videos about putting Vaseline down before we shoot the paint, and so this gives you a good idea of what that turns out looking like. And you know, I think it looks pretty good personally. I was fairly, reasonable on the top side. You can just see some chips here. I figure, as the canopy slides back, it might scratch things up. I don't know, a little bit here in the corner. Fairly light. But on the bottom, I went really heavy because I figure these planes are flying off of unimproved runways in England, and hang on with me for a second here. Okay, so I weathered the bottom pretty heavily, and one of the things, when I painted the bottom of the airplane with the sky blue, I completely spaced the fact that I needed to paint the bottom of the cowl as well. So I ended up masking the cowl off last night and painting it. And so I shot blue on it last night with the airbrush, and you can see there's a tape line right here. But once I scour this with steel wool, then hopefully it'll blend and look a little bit better. But so this is part of the fuse, and you can see how banged up it was from flying off of gravel and dirt and doing 127.3 missions, and the whole made up history that I'm giving this airplane. And so last night I laid down bits of Vaseline here. You can see them, and you can see the way the paint goes ahead, it sticks to it and it dries in place. But I wanted to show you what happens when we try and take that off, and see if we can get a reasonable picture here. Alright, try that. Alright, so the way I do this is just a basic piece of paper towel, and I'll spray some acrylicline on here, which is just a wax and degreaser, and without going, hopefully, too much onto areas that are already painted, because I would prefer to keep the Vaseline from making its way all over the airplane. I'll just do a quick wipe like that, and most of the bigger chunks will come off. Do that again. Alright, so you can see the paint right there is wrinkled. So what was under there was a very little bit of Vaseline, and I want to get that paint to chip off and expose the silver paint that's underneath it. And so I'll use a gray Scotch-Brite pad, again with the acrylicline, And there it goes. And so that rubs off nice. I'll rub all the whole area just to make sure I get all that little chipped paint stuff to come off. Because basically it'll expose all the little bits of Vaseline that, you know, I didn't put on very heavily. There we go, just like that. Again with the acrylic, essentially wiping away from my previously painted, cleaned, done, you know, nice areas like that. And then I'll also hit it with some isopropyl alcohol. Try and get a nice, crisp, clean feel. The downside to using Vaseline for this kind of weathering is the fact that you're using Vaseline for this kind of weathering. Okay, what do you think? I think it's a little overdone personally, but it is what it is. This was an experiment. I prefer the kind of lighter bit that I did on the top side. You know, here's a little bit here in the green, and you know, I kind of like the way that looks. I think I overdid the bottom a bit, but oh well, you can learn from my mistakes later.